One of the most popular things to trade, at least according to my audience, is gold. Everybody loves to keep an eye on it. It's shiny, so why not? But gold's been up recently and actually up another 1% at the time of recording this video today. And a lot of people are wondering, is gold coming back? Like, is this kind of energy coming back into the picture with gold? And yesterday we had some interesting news out of China that I want to talk about for a second. China blocks shipments of rare minerals to the US. What to know?
Marie, is that my minerals?
And this was a couple days ago, but I wanted to talk about this because it does seem to be shaping up to be an interesting year in 2025, with China, of course, banning the export of several strategically important minerals to the United States in response to the latest round of American restrictions. Chinese chip-making industry. Now, here's the thing that you need to know. A couple years ago, some of you guys might not have been trading, but I was during 2018. And I remember the trade war stuff with Donald Trump and China going head to head. And it seems like there's some escalation here. It seems like there's already some butting of the heads, as you will. And it seems like gold is responding to this. I want to show you this. So on Tuesday, the Chinese Commerce Ministry announced that it has banned the export of gallium, germanium, antimony, I don't know how to say all these things, and super hard materials to the US. The ban on dual-use materials, those with civilian and military applications, comes alongside the implication of stricter end-user and end-use reviews on graphite exports to the US. So that was a lot of words, but what I want you to understand is the short answer is trade war escalations seem to be already forming in 2024. And maybe a major theme next year with the return of Donald Trump. Today's video is sponsored by DNA Funded, who we recently got sponsored by and have met the people behind the team. They're a very professional, large-scale group. That's something I think is really important when you talk about funding programs, is instead of partnering up with just an influencer-run sort of thing, a larger team behind the scenes is really important. That's what we looked for personally. They've got several offers. Of course, quick payouts, profit sharing up to 90%, unlimited trading challenges on 1 and 2 phase challenges, and you can trade pretty much everything all on DNA Funded. So check them out, and there's also a 10% code down below in the description for you, A1 Trading DF10. And I want to show you, I talked about this yesterday, but let me just show you a chart from 2018. So back in 2018, there was a major market sell-off in the S&P 500, basically because of the trade war escalations that we saw then. Again, this game of East versus West ramping up during a trade war and restricting international trade can be perceived as a very concerning thing for the stock market, simply because if you think about, a flow of supply and goods through the world is generally speaking better for business and things like that. Well, the opposite is true if you get restrictive nature stuff. Not to mention, by the way, we had a couple years later a big scare during the COVID pandemic when supply issues majorly disrupted the global economy. Not to mention, the Chinese central bank also seems to be back on the buying gold trend, which definitely helps to continue to prop up the price. So all of that being said, there seems to be some geopolitical tensions that are coming back into the picture. They always come out of somewhere. And this time from China, it seems like we may be seeing some strength returning to gold. This also comes alongside a Edgefinder reading of +6, which is a bullish reading for gold. We've got an upward trend. We've got economic data that's a bit mixed, but overall seasonality, commitment of traders data, all of these things are heavily weighting towards the bullish side for gold. And what I'm looking for is some possible technical setups to go alongside this. So what I mean by that is we're coming up to this level of resistance right around 2710, let's call it, which has been a key level of resistance as we've entered into this consolidation phase when looking at recent price action. What could be interesting is that if you do really see prices ramping for gold, there could be a key breakout here. And if that sort of behavior starts to happen, any pullbacks, in my view, would be good risk reward trades that I may be interested in taking myself. So again, let me clarify, we've been in a bit of a range bound market for gold. What I'd be looking for would be proof that bulls are strong enough to actually get above some of these key levels of resistance, and then looking for the retest trade with a tight risk management stop loss and looking for a continuation play to happen pretty quick. In the broad scheme of things, gold is still very high, right? In terms of a price, it's been really strong recently, and this year it's been a really strong upward trend with the recent consolidation. What I'd need for proof to continue to be bullish would be, again, a key breakout above resistance that has held gold back in recent weeks. And the Nasdaq seems to be poking up here this morning thanks to some of the Mag 7 stuff. We actually saw Alphabet jumping here this morning, up 5% at the time of recording this video. And part of the reason for Google being up is a bit of a exciting announcement from the CEO of Google about their new quantum computing chip, Willow. So what's interesting about this is the chip was introduced on Monday, highlighting its ability to significantly reduce computational errors and its performance in benchmark tests. This has been an interesting theme here recently, as a lot of these major companies that have a bajillion dollars to their name are also getting into the chip trade, seemingly creating their own. I know Amazon is building some of their own semiconductors, and it seems like Google is getting a part of the action as well. And I wonder what that does to stocks like Nvidia. And you can see it's up, 2% here today regardless. And it's a company that I own some shares of. But I wonder, as these other major Mag 7 companies, right? Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, things like that, as they potentially get involved in the chip trade, does that hurt the story for Nvidia? I'm not sure. The S&P 500 is basically flat here this morning. Some sectors in the red, some in the green. Of course, technology doing quite well today, with Google leading the way. If we take a look at the dollar is also strong, finding support around that 106 area, but let's see if it can hold that going into tomorrow's key CPI report. That will be really interesting. If you get a tick up in inflation, the dollar could get strong as expectations for rate cuts could get slashed. But the opposite would also be true. If you get an inflation number that's cool and the Fed has the green light to continue to cut rates, the dollar may see a bit of a larger correction to this recent bullish trend that we've seen this last couple months. Bitcoin seems to be trying to hold support around 97,500. I'm very curious to see what happens from here. I think that the momentum has slowed a little bit. We had this ginormous upward trend following the election, and then now we've seen this thing kind of slow its momentum. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to roll over per se, but seems like right now Bitcoin is still trying to figure out if the next move is lower, if we're going to start trending back down, or if we can continue to break and maybe see a resurgence in that momentum. Right now, I really don't have a strong opinion on Bitcoin. I do think that it has a pretty good backdrop into 2025 with a supportive, president coming into the picture with Elon Musk, all that. I mean, I see that being a bullish story. However, the question becomes, is that already sort of expected by the market? Have they already pumped up the price off of that? And is there more room to continue in the short run? We'll see. I personally am going to stay on the sidelines of Bitcoin for right now. So the Nasdaq is back in positive territory, but I am looking to see if we can get a bigger pullback. If it doesn't happen, then it is what it is, but I'm looking for that to potentially come into play, give me that sweep lower where I could potentially look for a long opportunity. I am getting a nice confirmation currently from the Edgefinder +8 bullish rating. I've just been on the sidelines a little bit with this trade, so still waiting to see if I can get my entry, but Edgefinder has been very spot on with that bullish idea for the Nasdaq. The Dow Jones is pulling back. However, the Edgefinder, like I said, is what I use to find trades and ideas. Not currently giving me a high enough score with just a neutral +4. Not going to take that trade. But keeping an eye on it. If we get a tick up in score here, the Dow Jones may be a trade setup that I look for. I do like the technical chart, but again, need confirmation from both the Edgefinder and the chart. And I do think it's important to mention that when you're talking about your trading setups, strategies, etc., you have to have a pretty binary rule set in terms of allowing yourself to take or not take trades. For me, I have to see a confirmation both on the technical front as well as something in the Edgefinder that's giving me the rite of passage, if you will, to take a trade. Now, the Edgefinder is not a magical system or anything like that, but if you'd like to try it out, we do offer trials on the Edgefinder, and there's a link in the description down below to try out our software. The Edgefinder has things like the top setups page, as well as, of course, all of our different sentiment indicators, which have been really popular. The put-call ratio, a lot of people have been exploring our tools here recently, and I gotta say, 2024 has been a really exciting year for us. We've had thousands of people pick up copies of our software and start using them. And we've had amazing testimonials and a lot of people who have gone on to get funded and really improve their trading career. I know it sounds like sales pitch. It's because it is. This stuff is really good data. And if you're someone looking to get into sentiment analysis and improve your fundamental analysis, look at economic data, I highly encourage you to check out the link in the description down below that will allow you to try out our software. So take advantage of that 30-day trial down below in the description. And just a heads up, the trial's not free. There is a small fee that comes with it, but if you're serious about this stuff, the reason we charge a fee is that someone from our team will manually work with you alongside the process to make sure that you get the most out of the software, that you're understanding it. There is some complexity here, but honestly, it's just a ton of market data in one spot and can genuinely really help to give you a more insightful look at the financial markets, whether you trade gold, indices, Forex, etc. Thanks for watching this video, and on the screen right now, you'll see some other options of other videos we put together that might be helpful to you in your trading career. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.